EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martin here with your outlook for January 11th, 2019. For your Friday, expecting mostly sunny conditions across the region today, but it will be colder, and many areas will not get above the freezing mark, which is you're definitely going to feel that with a little bit of a breeze still remaining today, and not as windy as it has been the past couple of days. We're having high pressure move in. That's a little bit west to us. So early on, I think you have a chance to see winds that are in the 8 to 14 range, something like that, and then we start to slacken off a little bit as we get later in the day, and then really not much to speak of overnight as high pressure ends up right on top of us. So mostly sunny today, mostly clear tonight to start, and then I think we start getting partly cloudy skies in advance of our system coming in here on Saturday late at night. It will be late at night that you start seeing some high clouds starting to work their way in. So call partly cloudy by the end of the night, and then to start on Saturday, well, partly cloudy skies also. Then once we get into the afternoon, we're going to see increasing clouds, and we're going to have this batch of precipitation coming in from the south and west. This is in association with that low pressure that's back in the still back in the plains at this point, or just west of the Tennessee Valley. This is all running out ahead of the storm itself. So this is all being driven by isentropic lift processes, and it's going to be working into our region. Now it's going to be running into, we talked about in the last couple of days, there's a lot of dry air that's up in here in New England. There's a lot of confluence up here creating that dry air. So it's going to be moving into a dry air mass, at least initially. And the further southwest you go away from that confluence zone, which is going to be setting up right about here. Here's a confluence zone. That's the southernmost extent of it. But you still have some effects closest to that area confluence. So as this is moving in here, it's going to be running that dry air. But areas to the south and west, these areas right down in here, are not going to really be affected by it as much. So they're going to start snowing probably right away. It might take a little bit longer in these in-between areas further east. Okay, so when you get out in these areas here, it's going to take a little bit for the atmosphere to get saturated because that dry air is in place further east, closest to that confluence zone. And then we will have snow breakout eventually. And I do think this comes in during the evening and overnight farther east, but it might be as early as late afternoon for our southwestern areas in south central Pennsylvania and northern Maryland. Okay, so that's going to be an earlier start there. But we do have, again, we have snow coming in across the region, but it's going to be very, very light. And once it finally does break through, it's going to be what's left of it at the time where it finally breaks through and saturates the atmosphere in those areas that it did not reach the ground initially because it was so dry. We think that because of that, even though it's showing snow all the way up here, almost to like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, I don't think it's reaching the ground up in these areas. I don't think you're getting anything there. Not impossible, but it's I don't think it's very likely. And then the main storm is going to consolidate near the Carolina coastline south of us. So our southern areas are going to get brushed with snow on the way out here. And that snow is going to continue into at least Sunday morning before that pulls away. So that system is going to pull away later Sunday. Could be a flurry further north from that, but I think primarily for the areas that are south, like pretty much south of this line right here, anywhere south of there is where you would have a threat or an opportunity for snow showers going into Sunday. I don't think you're dealing with it up in these areas here. I think it's maybe just a flurry and that's it. All right, so that's the deal with that system. Moves off the coast. And that's out of here. Let's go over the NAM high-res future simulator radar. This is the latest 0Z NAM that ran, and this is the 3-kilometer NAM. So everything in blue here is snow. Anything in this preliminary here that's not showing anything. They're not showing snow anyway. It is definitely cold enough to snow. This is probably Virga out ahead of this. So that means this is what's not reaching the ground yet because the atmosphere is not saturated enough. And you can see as we get into that was 4 p.m. by the way. This is 7 p.m. It starts to move in. Maybe late afternoon, early evening, again, for southwestern areas, just coming into Harrisburg at this point, Carlisle, Chambersburg, and places like that across York County, and maybe southwestern Lancaster starting to get into it in northern Delaware. So this is all spreading in, but it's going to be weakening as it runs into that dry air to the north and that high pressure to the north. But the question is, how far north and east does this get? We don't think it really gets that far, and if you saw our snow map that we have on the weather alerts page, which is still going to be there today, we did leave room for adjustments on there, and we don't do the first call, final call system anymore. We're just going to update it as needed, but I don't think you're going to see too many changes with this, but we did use the word possible, so it was always these northern fringe areas were according to 1 inch possible or 1 to 2 possible. It wasn't that we didn't use the word likely on purpose. It was just possible. I do think you're getting snow. But we're going to might be some shifts around here and seeing where this goes, especially if the 3 kilometer NAM's right about bringing this this far north. We did not have it this far north. We had our cutoff of snow kind of going like this, straight from here over to Schuylkill County, and it did include Allentown, and then kind of went right into central Jersey, kind of like this. That was the northernmost extent of the accumulating snow, and that was all coating to an inch. And the coating to an inch actually extended down kind of like this. So all the way into southern New Jersey. That was like your coating to an inch range right in here. So if the NAM is correct and it brings a little bit further north, we can see some adjustments. All right, that does not necessarily mean that the NAM is correct bringing it this far north, but if you're in one of these areas up here in northern New Jersey, maybe over the Poconos or these fringe areas, just north of the Knoebels up here, and Columbia County, places like that, just keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it for you, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something coatings up here in this area also. But our biggest snowfall is going to be, actually, the biggest snowfall is going to be right down in here, and down just southwest of the west and southwest of DC, and also down in these areas here. These are going to be some 6-inch potential in here in those regions. In between is kind of like a 1 to 3, 2 to 4. So that's what we're looking for out of this system. But this is going to, again, it's going to be running out of steam as it's running eastward. So it goes from here at 10 to this at 1 o'clock in the morning to that at 4. You got barely any flurries left, and then that's out of here early morning. So we're not dealing with any precipitation residual behind that, but there will be again the second batch coming in behind this for the southern areas, and you can see that here. This is early Sunday morning, getting the Baltimore and DC area, heading over to Delaware, southern New Jersey. So on our map, we have those areas getting a little bit more because of that, and that's with this main low coming in. But after that point, once this moves through, we're back to on Monday we go back to mostly sunny skies. Same thing here on Tuesday. We are mostly sunny once again. We are going to turn a little bit milder on Tuesday. Nothing crazy, but we're going to get out of the near freezing temperatures and get closer to the 40-degree mark on both Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday we're going to have and this is all in advance of a cold front that's moving toward us. It looks like it's going to fall out of steam. Comes in during the overnight hours on Wednesday night, and then once that clears, it gets colder here on Thursday, and then we might be dealing with another wintry system here on Friday. This is just a front, though, so we'll have to wait and see how this does. Could be some light snow with that also. Doesn't look like a big deal right now, but we will revisit that, of course, in future videos once this gets in range. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich. That is your outlook for January 11th, 2019. Have a great Friday.